Console, online. HPG connection, online. Educational module, online. All systems, nominal.
Hello, class, and welcome to On the Origin of Battlemechs Podcast, episode 90, The Hermes. I am your host, Brent Stewart. My co-hosts today are...
I'm Chandler.
And I'm Derek.
And today we are talking about the 30-ton machine known as the Hermes. Just the first iteration, not the 40-ton Hermes 2, which will be getting its own episode. The Hermes was first produced in 2632 and stumbled off the assembly line with multiple issues and production complications. This was due to R&D being rushed, and it would take several years of repairs and retrofits to completely correct the issues. The Hermes was only in production for 19 years before the contract was cancelled and the machine was relegated to militias. It was only when the tech level dropped below the ability to produce the original specifications, that the Hermes line was reactivated and shifted from militia design to a frontline scout. The Hermes, like its namesake, relies on speed as its armor. The Hermes is also notable for the SLDF models having a Alexis Proton targeting acquisition system. It uses complex computer calculations to calculate range and probability to inform the mech warrior if it is wise to fire the weapon system. This hardware was one of the first things cannibalized due to the succession wars, and afterwards only the Comguard pre-Jihad were the only known organization to possess an intact original machine. It has the design quirks of no torso twist.
A shame.
And that right there already set it off on a bad note for me.
Which is funny because, actually, no, it doesn't have it twisting. Never mind. The art in the 3050 TRO makes it look like it's torso twisting, but it's not.
No, it's just the angle it's looking at. It looks like it's turning and then its head's turned towards you.
Yeah, it does have an articulated head, which is not nothing.
Yeah.
So the first model we have is the HER-1S, seen in 2632. And this model has a movement profile of 914. It's got a medium laser in the center torso, a medium laser in the right arm, and a flamer in the left arm. And it's got 10 single heat sinks. It has ferro armor. It's got endo steel. It's got a regular fusion engine. And it only has one hand actuator. The left arm does not have a hand. So, unfortunate. I mean, you do have the available slots, so you could get it on there, because I'm pretty sure giving it a hand actuator, it doesn't cost you any weight. It's just a slot, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But then it doesn't look as cool.
That's true.
You lose them cool points.
I like my mechs to have hands. They're nice.
I do too. I mean, I think the cool factor for this guy really comes from the head helmet design and also the nifty little wings it's got on its booties.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. Yeah.
Oh no, did I ruin it for you?
No, you didn't ruin it for me.
Not the belly flamer. Or sorry, not belly flamer. Belly medium laser.
Yeah, that's definitely a belly button, but
yeah, tummy laser.
But if you look at the machine, like, it kind of has no undercarriage, like where you expect the hips to be. It's just kind of empty space, which is really interesting, which also, prevents it from having a torso twist because, everything's kind of like hard-wired welded together. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Overall, I like the design. I think it looks good. It definitely has issues. The no torso twist is a huge problem, but I kind of have to respect the little flourish of the wings on the feet for the name. Like, yeah, you're like, all right, you got me.
I mean, it aesthetically it looks cool. Just militarily, I guess it leaves something to be desired.
It's impractical. There's no functionality behind it.
Yeah, there's definitely better scout mechs that we've even already talked about at the same tonnage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just from my perspective on it, like, this is definitely something that somebody decided we need to make a scout mech. SLDF wants a scout mech. Let's make the cheapest thing that we can and give it to them. And that's kind of what I feel like the original variant of the Hermes was just kind of like drawing board to production to, sweet government contract as quickly as humanly possible. And then, it gets to those SLDF soldiers and they're like, what is this thing?
Well, luckily it didn't stick around for too long for them.
True.
Yeah.
But, I mean, being able to go 14 at 30 tons is pretty respectable, especially first out the gate.
Yeah, I mean, overall, just some of the design choices that cause some of the issues with it is probably what really kills it for me. So
Yeah.
Absolutely fair. So the 1S has a battle value of 716 and a point value of 25. We then come to the 1SB, the royal version, seen in 2740. This guy has a movement profile of 91418. It's got a small laser in the head. It's got a Beagle active probe in the center torso. It's got 2 medium lasers in the left torso, 2 medium lasers in the right arm, and 1 flamer in the left arm. It has 10 double heat sinks. It's got an XL engine. It's got ferro. It's got endo steel. And yeah, it's just, all the bells and whistles. This is, not that substantial of an upgrade considering it already had ferro and endo, but it gets that XL engine, which, considering it's a light machine,
Mask.
XL engines I feel are totally fine to have on light machines because if you get hit with something big, you're dead anyways, right?
pretty much. But you know what it also gets? Mask.
A mask.
It does get mask, yes. That's how it gets that 18.
It goes very fast now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So with this one, I give it some respect. The Royal variant definitely takes care of some of the issues for me. Yes, it still has that no torso twist, but you have a Beagle active. Instead of just 2 medium lasers, you now have 4 medium lasers.
Yeah.
Like
Basically doubling your weapons loadout.
Yeah, you double your weapons loadout. You still keep your flamer, and you gain a small laser out of the package. Like honestly, this thing's terrifying. 'Cause this can cause some harm.
Yes, this is very good.
And you've got plenty of heat sinks, so you never have to worry about overheating.
Yeah, this is a cool running boy.
Yeah, because it's got those doubles too. Oh yeah, buddy.
I think you can generate like 18 or something.
And I'm pretty sure they add a little bit more armor as well across the board, which is not bad.
Yeah,
they do.
As much armor as that
They
frame
definitely
can
do.
hold.
Yeah. Only the best for the SLDF Royal Divisions.
So the 1SB has a battle value of 1112 with a point value of 37. And then we come to the HER-1A, seen in 2856. And this guy is, there's no two ways about it, he's a downgrade. This guy has a movement profile of 914. It's got that medium laser in the center torso, medium laser in the right arm, a flamer in the left arm. It loses the endo and ferro, so it is just a standard engine with a whole bunch of empty critical slots. And it's got 10 single heat sinks. So...
And then you look at its armor, and it's such a massive downgrade.
Oh yeah, you basically cut it in half, or 40% off the SB1, or 1SB, sorry.
You might as well be wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Back to speed as armor.
Yeah, true. But I'm just saying, you get caught by anything. Like any heavy weapon basically blows through not only your armor, but it's taking that arm off, or that leg, or that center torso.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, one AC-20 shot to the center torso and the thing is gone.
Yeah, he did.
You're overkilled by like 3 points, or you hit like left arm, right arm, left leg, any of that. It transfers. You're not going to be in a good spot.
The hunchback scale of this thing is going to die. Any hunchback variant can kill this in one turn. The SP just drowns it in lasers. I mean, you hit 2 medium lasers on an arm and it's gone. Not to totally bash it, but it's definitely a Succession Wars era, like throw this sucker into the line kind of mentality.
Yeah. What can we still make?
Yeah. Hey, we have a ton of these laying around, and the Free Worlds League was like, I'm in.
I'll take your entire stock.
How many of these can you make, and how fast can you make them? And they're like, fast?
Let me get back to you on that one.
Yeah.
So the 1A has a battle value of 601 and a point value of 21. So definitely taking a hit on those points. In the same year, we have the 1B.
2856.
And this guy is a little different in the sense that it has the same movement profile, basically the same weapons, except it swaps out that flamer for another medium laser. A 3-pack of medium lasers, which is, I mean, not bad. That's, for a scout, that is a decent weapons loadout. You can dish out 15 damage a turn as long as you're hitting where you need to be hitting. It's not bad. It's got 10 single heat sinks. It doesn't have any other weight savings.
Sorry, folks. I have to head out. I hope you have a good one. And enjoy the rest of this episode about the Hermes.
I will.
Thank you. Life calls, but you take care of your things, and we'll see you next episode. So we've got that Hermes 1B. It's got the 3-pack of lasers. It's got that movement profile. So it just switches the flamer for a medium laser, which is not bad because the medium laser, of course, is one of the most efficient weapons in the game.
Ain't nothing wrong with more efficiency.
Indeed. So the 1B's got a battle value of 687 and a point value of 25, which I think is... I'd definitely rather take the 1B over the 1A, but
yeah,
that could just
unless
be
I was facing a bunch of infantry.
fair.
Then the flamer would be nice.
So we don't get another Hermes model, or at least a new Hermes model, for quite a long time. Almost 200 years, in fact, until 3047 with the 3S. This guy's got a movement profile of 914, but it could also go 18 when it has its mask. When it has its mask activated. So this guy's got a Beagle active probe in the right torso. It's got a medium laser in the right arm and a medium laser in the left arm. It's got 10 single heat sinks. It's got endo steel, and it's got ferro. But doesn't really add any more armor. It just takes all that weight savings and gets the more tech in there because, well, the Beagle active probe as a scout is a good thing.
Because reasons. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a very good scout variant of the Hermes. Yeah, you have very little armor, but, you know, you got an active probe and mask. You go places fast.
You can theoretically go 18 if you have a really good run lined up.
Yeah.
That's like a movement modifier of like +4, right?
Yeah, or even 5. Obviously, you just, at the end, you run into heavy woods.
Yeah. So, yeah, just, it does what it says on the side of the tin, 2 medium lasers, Beagle active probe, it go voom. Very, very strong showing.
Its shoes are very indicative of how fast it is.
Yeah. It's got a battle value of 687 and a point value of 25. Then we come to the 3S1 seen in 3049. It's got a movement profile of 91418. It's got a Guardian ECM suite instead of the Beagle active probe, and it's still got those 2 medium lasers and the 10 single heat sinks and the ferro and the endo and the standard fusion. So just swapping the ECM in for that Beagle, which is not bad. Not much else to cover about it, though, sadly.
I mean, it kind of follows in the same footsteps as the Steiner Firestarter variants, where you get the one that's like the prime variant, and then a bunch of them that just kind of trade out one thing for another. In this case, a Beagle for a ECM suite.
Yep. So this guy's got a battle value of 726 and a point value of 21. So interesting to see how those two systems value things a little differently. You know, different rule sets, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And then we have the 3S2 in 3049. And this guy's got the Guardian ECM suite and a tag and a medium laser. And it has that movement profile of 91418. And so same as the last two, just a little different, little different spices. Instead of pepper, we've got some paprika.
Yeah, I mean, very low firepower on its behalf, but with a tag, it's not what's doing the damage. It's, the LRM carrier in the back or the Aeroport carrier in the back or something scary.
Yes.
Whoosh inbound.
Mm-hmm. So the 3S2 is a fantastic unit for a coordinated effort as opposed to a stand-up fight. But then again, I mean, it's a scout mech. How often are you going to take one of these as a stand-up fight?
Most of these are not good for a stand-up fight.
No. So this guy's got a battle value of 600 flat and a point value of 22. So then we jump forward to 3057 and we have the 4S. This guy is a little more interesting because he's got a movement profile of 91418, which is very quickly become the standard. It's got a medium pulse laser in the center torso, Guardian ECM suite in the right torso, a medium pulse laser in the right arm, and a medium pulse laser in the left arm. It's got Pharaoh, it's got Endo, it's got an XL engine, it's got 10 double heat sinks. This is a spicy boy, and I like it.
Yeah, the Standards hit their stride with this one, I think. This one's definitely a good replacement for Commandos as a scout. Good replacement for Commandos as a scout mech. It's actually fast enough to scout.
Probably also have more armor, too.
It's about the same, I think, but this one can actually get somewhere and then get out of that somewhere.
Yeah. No, this guy is a good scout. I like it. It is pretty nifty.
I think it even works well as an anti-scout mech because you have the 3 medium pulse lasers to help you really catch them.
Mm-hmm.
And you're fast enough to keep up.
The downside is, like you're fast enough to keep up, and the pulse lasers help with that, or that helps the pulse lasers because they have a shortened range. You know, they have a long range of 9. And so you're going to have to get in close in order to be tagging hits, but you're going to need that high movement modifier and et cetera, et cetera. I mean,
yeah.
The Guardian ECM suite helps because, having that have the same range as the long range of your medium pulse lasers means anything you're hitting is also something you're going to be jamming.
Yeah, he's been jammed. Raspberry jam.
So the 4S has a battle value of 1012 and a point value of 31. We then come to the 4K, seen 1 year later in 3058. It's got a movement profile of 9, 14, 18. It's got 2 ER medium lasers in the center torso. It's got 1 ER small laser in the right torso, a Guardian ECM suite in the right torso, a C3 slave in the left torso, 2 ER medium lasers in the right arm, and 2 ER medium lasers in the left arm. It's got 10 double heat sinks, an XL engine, Pharaoh, and Endo Steel. So using basically every critical slot it can, every weight savings bit of tech it can to load this thing out. This is designed to run up real close and give data to something else farther away, and it does its job really well. And it might get a little toasty because you can easily overheat this thing, but
yeah, it can generate 34 heat on a run. Luckily, you don't have ammo to explode, so
just means on a full run in an alpha from heat neutral, you're going to be doing a shutdown roll. So
yeah,
this is a spicy enchilada.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a 4K2 running around. That's like an unofficial refit people made that replaces all the ERs with standard mediums.
I could see that. I mean, I could also see them...
what I would do if I was a designer, I'd just replace the 2 arms, or replace all the arm lasers with 2 medium pulse lasers, and then you're fine. Solves all your heat problems. Yeah. But then you also have to deal with interfere mediums.
Yeah. I would maybe strip the small laser and one of the medium lasers from the center torso for another heat sink and some more armor.
That would be good too.
Doesn't make it, perfect. Doesn't make it perfect, but it definitely helps. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially since you usually can't get those center torso lasers on everything.
Mm-hmm.
They're there for when you get that miracle back shot on the Atlas and you're just like, well, this is my moment. Hit the big red button.
Yeah. So this guy is pretty sweet, but not quite meshing with each of our playstyles. Needs a little work to be optimized. But then again, Karita likes to keep it hot, right?
Yeah, I do like the C3. The C3 is a nice addition.
Yes, the C3 is what makes me go, okay, there's something here.
Yeah, and with the ECM suite, you just have a very easy time continuously handing out that data.
Yeah, having that umbrella to protect you is super useful. So this guy's got a battle value of 1470 and a point value of 36.
I now want an umbrella that says ECM suite on the outside.
All right, writes that down for merch store.
Totally.
So next up we have the 4M, seen in 3060. So this guy's got the 9, 14, 18 that we have seen quite often, basically as soon as Mask was introduced. It's got a improved C3 in the center torso, an ER medium laser in the right torso, a Guardian ECM in the right torso, and 2 ER medium lasers in the right arm and 2 ER medium lasers in the left arm. It's got 10 double heat sinks. It has Endo, it has Pharaoh, it has the XL engine. So it's just upgraded to an improved C3, which M for Merrick.
Word to Blake.
Improved C3.
Yeah, it was made with the word of Blake on Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like it a lot. It helps alleviate the heat problems that the 4K has, because that's what it's based off of. But other than that, it doesn't really solve the problem. It just makes it slightly more bearable.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, you really can't remove anything without compromising the mission profile.
Yeah. So the 4M has a battle value of 1362 and a point value of 36. And then we have the last Hermes, the 4WB, seen in 3068. And of course, WB means word of Blake. It's got a movement profile of 91418. It's got a medium pulse laser in the center torso, a Guardian ECM suite in the right torso, a medium pulse laser in the right arm, and a medium pulse laser in the left arm. It's got 10 double heat sinks. It's got endo. It's got stealth armor.
It is stealthy, boy.
And it has an XL engine. So this guy can get warm. It can get warm, but this seems pretty cool and interesting. And I mean, stealth starts to break down when you're close or when you're moving fast.
Close. Mimetic is what breaks down when you're moving fast, which is on
right.
What's it called? Battle armor.
Right. I love Valtech, but so many rules.
There's not a lot of rules. What are you talking about?
So I guess this guy wants to get reasonably close to things.
Yeah, and then shut off the stealth armor and just start pewing it up.
And then I started blasting.
I pulled out my pieces.
So definitely a interesting word of Blake model, but it doesn't have any of those telltale signs of like the improved C3 or other telltale stuff. But the stealth
VSPs.
armor is. Yeah, the stealth armor is definitely interesting.
Small VSPs would actually be really fun on this, because they almost have the same range. Actually, do they? What's the range on an inner-sphere medium pulse laser again?
6. And I feel like the VSPs go up to 9.
Oh, yeah, it's the same range. Yeah, small VSPs have the same range as a medium pulse laser, and they do roughly the same damage. It's a straight upgrade.
Oh, smalls, not mediums. My bad.
Yeah, because it's also the same weight and same crit slots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're just doing 3 at the long range, but yeah, essentially, if you were to switch them all out for small medium pulse variables, you'd be reducing a lot of your damage at long range, but then as you walked it in, you'd be abusing the ever-living daylights out of the damage and potentially a -3 to hit. And then they also do 3 heat each, which makes it a very cool boy.
Yes, because you could theoretically keep your stealth armor on then.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. It's WB for we're better.
So this guy's got a battle value of 1042 and a point value of 38.
Good old Hermes. Irian Manufacturing did very well on this one. Just took them a bit.
Yeah, took a couple revisions and retrofits.
Couple revisions, got your retrofits.
Once they figured out how to put them out, they could put them out throughout the entire Succession War.
Couple regime changes. Who knew all it would take would be a cult following for a hokey space religion to make it an amazing mech.
So next up we have our pilot profiles, and I'm going to throw over to Chandler for our first pilot today.
All right, today we are going to start off with Acolyte 5, Hermes Ichimoto. And Acolyte Ichimoto joined at the height of the Fedcom Civil War to, of course, the Com Guards. Is it a he or she? It doesn't actually say.
Harris is traditionally male.
Yeah, I'm going to assume male, but don't kill me if I'm wrong. He was assigned to the ill-fated 66th Division in 3066, and he would spend the nearly year-long campaign detached as part of a special reconnaissance force that kept tabs on Peter Steiner Davian's advance across Stahlkater during the end of the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
He was, of course, captured in the final weeks of the battle because luck is not a thing that exists in life. But he was released shortly after the end of the war. Speaking of luck, 9 months later, he was back on Tharkad, back on the front lines, but this time fighting the Word of Blake alongside the 66th few surviving demi companies. And the reason I say ill-fated 66th Division is because during the Fedcom Civil War, the 66 would essentially toss in with the Lyran Alliance with Katrina Steiner and Nodi Steiner and essentially get annihilated. So, yay! Good for them.
Woo. Well, to be fair, I don't really think it was their call, because if I recall correctly, from the novels, she made a deal with Comguard or Comstar to basically, we will defend the capitals and that's it. But it's only because we're going to defend, like the capital HBG, which is super important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our next pilot is Subaltern Peter Grimes, and Peter is notable for piloting the only known working Hermes in the periphery. He commands a lance of himself, 2 spiders, and a locust. His unit is very skilled at scouting vast amounts of terrain with their fast machines. However, the novelty of Peter's Hermes has long since worn off, and he would like to trade the machine if only to get the target off his back.
I find it so hard to believe that he has the only Hermes in the periphery. Like, there's the whole other side of the periphery, guys.
Fair, and, like, it may also be from that era, etc., etc. But
yeah, all the information they had.
Also, are we counting mercenaries in that, or are we just counting, like, periphery state units?
I would assume everything. So, like, pirates, small nations, mercenary units, anything that's living in the periphery.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if this is like some like Free Worlds League unit that's taking a quick jaunt through periphery lane, that don't count because they don't live there.
That's spring break.
I mean, technically, if you want to get really technical, isn't the clan homeworlds in the periphery just really out there?
Yeah.
The deep periphery.
You're out of line, but he's not wrong,
They had some.
Come on now, there's got to be a couple Brian Cashes.
Brian Cash. Brain Cash. This one's just got brains in it. All right, next up we have Lieutenant Senior Grade Beta Gallipus? I don't know. I don't do Greek very well. This Lieutenant Senior Grade was thrown into Marshal Jeremy Brent's unsanctioned rescue of Kristen's Crushers in 3063. Yeah, 3063. And the lieutenant was one of the 5 2-mech recon elements that scouted out the 2nd Donegal Guard's positions on the planet of Arcadia. She was the lucky pilot to find the break in the Donegal Guard's line that allowed the 6th Merrick Militia to break through and rescue Kristen's Crushers from certain destruction. So good job, Lieutenant Senior Grade Beta Gallipus, something. Obviously, the going 914 helped a lot. I do find it interesting that they broke up into 5 2-mech recon elements. Because usually when you have Inner Sphere try to break up past Lance, they tend to just split up into single mech groups.
Mm-hmm. It's not often that they work in pairs.
There's more than one. All right, and finally we have Lieutenant Alex Upland. He's not from Downland.
Hey-o.
Lieutenant Upland was part of Colonel Tommaso Kichikuhara's staff for the 1st Regulan Hussars. His Hermes can often be found near the Colonel's Orion on the battlefield, ready to sprint off and deliver a critical message in the heat of battle, or to, of course, scout, as that is what Hermes are designed to do, is, well, scout. Who would have thought of scout mech scouts? Although it is rare to find a mech warrior serving as an aide, Lieutenant Upland serves this task as well inside of his mech as an out. He is an adept mech warrior despite his near non-combatant status, with 3 mech kills to his credit, which is pretty impressive seeing as he probably is in a 1A.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, you're a scout mech. You're not supposed to kill other mechs.
Yeah, who would win? A very heavily armed frontline combat machine or one scouty boy?
Well, it depends on the initiative rolls.
Fair.
So, for our data dive today, we are going to look back at the Terran Hegemony with part 13 of their history. When last we spoke of the Terran Hegemony, Ian Cameron and the other leaders of the great houses of the Inner Sphere had just signed the Star League Accords and made real the dream that was the Star League. But as I said last time, signing some documents does not make a interstellar empire appear overnight. Work still had to be done, with the League's goals of peace and prosperity being very literally put on center stage. A reorganization of the militaries of the Inner Sphere was necessary. First, the absolute best of each nation's military would be adopted into the SLDF, as spoken about before. Then the best of the remaining would be elevated to the now vacant positions. But with all of the houses reducing their military, that still meant that a majority of the military personnel would be discharged, with no transferable skills or prospects. For during the Age of War, many individuals joined the military from a young age, and during the Age of War, a soldier's skill set was to kill the enemy and little else. Many of these now discharged soldiers found work as noble bodyguards or private security for corporations. Some banded together to form mercenaries, contracted to kill pirates. Some, bitter by their treatment from former nations, grouped together to make pirates to prey upon their former homelands. It was such an issue that historical records show that it was a frequent topic of discussion in the first council chambers. Each lord knew it must be addressed, but peacetime footing allowed no easy recourse, and with increase of automation due to Starleague technology, the job sectors simply could not support the influx of the discharged personnel from the military sector, let alone account for training them in the interim. So we see from the very beginning that the idealism of the Starleague causing it to fall flat in practicality, or at the very least logistics. While this is not an economics class, the economy is often a major factor, if not the major factor, in many conflicts. So it would be negligent not to bring to light some historical examples of empires of the past sidestepping this pitfall. The Roman Empire, at its commonly referred to height, had a grain subsidy provided to its citizens to ensure that they did not starve. While the system was incomplete, it did address the immediate needs to provide a substantial relief valve for the social plight and/or pressure. Post-World War II, America created massive work projects that many have criticized don't add value, but to say that ensuring that all members of a community have access to clean drinking water and electricity, housing that accounts for their medical needs, see Arizona and the respiratory issues of veterans, and improve the ability for trade and communication as something not necessary has a reduced view of society. Building each of us up should only inspire us to improve ourselves. Sadly, the Starleague did none of these things and allowed the issues to fester and grow. That was until an event forced the issue. In 2571, a group of ex-Capellan military turned pirate attacked the world of Milos. When the local units were sent out to put a stop to these pirate activities, they recognized the insignias of the units and members they had served with during the previous age of war and refused to engage. This incident quickly escalated to the point where the Chancellor of the Capellan Confederation asked the SLDF to step in and resolve the issue on their behalf. The SLDF sent the 22nd Royal Battlemech Regiment, and when they started to crush the pirate menace, the Capellan garrison sprang into action to help their lost brothers and sisters. The 22nd was able to disengage in good order, but this fiasco clearly showed that something, anything, had to be done to address this issue. Transcripts of the High Council session shows that the Archon was the only one to vote in opposition to the resolution of 2572 that would move the houses to rebuild their military, a bold decision as it would quickly make the SLDF outnumbered. But to alleviate these concerns, the council chose to have the United Triumph military exercises. The United Triumph military exercises were, as we know now, a stunning and resounding failure.
Oops.
For the idea was to have the SLDF and house units square off in training exercises. This would give the edge to the SLDF as they had the best troops, training, and equipment. But they lacked the sense of self and unity, and the house units used this to great effect. Essentially, all coordination and cooperation of SLDF units broke down immediately, and this was exploited by the house units. But what of the home planets of these house units that were pulled away for the games? Well, the discharged soldiers were re-enlisted to ersatz, or inferior, SLDF units that would hold the planet's garrison while the premier units were off training and having fun stomping the SLDF.
How rude.
The actual exercises took place on barren worlds scattered throughout the inner sphere, but mostly situated close to the periphery. This was intentional, as the United Triumph military exercises were meant to be a saber rattle at the periphery in the hope of cowing them into joining the Starleague. Again, this did not work, since the SLDF units were routinely defeated by the house units. But the low watermark had to be when the SLS Rickover and the SLS Davian's Heart collided during operations over Vacariel. The periphery quickly reassured themselves that this SLDF was a foolish paper army commanded by a doddering old man and his wife. And given the poor showing, how could they not think that? The only positive thing to come out of the United Triumph military exercises was the commissioning of military bases along the periphery border worlds, as they would be needed and of great importance sooner than most expected. We will now look at the first stone that started to roll down the mountainside and create the avalanche that would be the Reunification Wars. It started with the Outworld Alliance. For in 2572, when First Lord Ian Cameron learned that the Outworld Alliance had a regiment worth of battlemechs, he was furious and knew that the Outworld Alliance would use them to reverse engineer and jumpstart their own battlemech program. And at this point in time, the Mother Doctrine was still in effect, so battlemechs were state secrets. Cameron issued Directive 21, mandating that the Outworld Alliance accept SLDF troops for mutual defense and protection against the numerous bands of outlaws and pirates that have infiltrated the region. SLDF and DCMS units were dispatched to the Outworld Alliance immediately. So, off to a great start.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. What could go wrong is that the Star League units kept close to their orders to find the elusive mechs and keep good relations with the population. The Draconis Combine troops were not given such explicit orders, and so they used the DCMS handbook for searching. And as we all know, the page is just a copy of the search and destroy with the destroy crossed out at the header, and that's it. Soon, the 17th Galadon regulars patrolled the city of Santiago on the planet of Santiago after they had destroyed much of the property during their initial search. The population held no love for these snake troops, and often the population would hurl garbage and debris at the machines as they patrolled. And soon the children made a game of running in between the legs of the machines as they moved, taunting and daring the avatars of death to do something to them. Every day the population became more emboldened. On December 14th, 2572, a Locust pilot finally lost their cool during the patrol and tossed a can of mech coolant at a child, taunting the mech warrior. What happened next was a blur. The coolant canister exploded, burning the child. The mob pressed and the pilot panicked. In a rush to get away, the Locust's foot was snagged by a burnt-out ground vehicle, resulting in it falling to the pavement, where the population descended on it. The pilot fired indiscriminately as they tried to get up and get away, killing 27 and injuring 30 more. This night would be known as the Santiago Massacre, and its effects would be felt across the inner sphere. And the anti-SLDF sentiment only increased when the mech warrior was court-martialed on Terra instead of on Santiago. The Magistry of Canopus broke off all territory negotiations. The Taurian Concordat turned down a favored nation trade deal and geared up its military production. All periphery nations but the Rimworld Republic turned down an invite to a Star League summit. This is the first stone that started to roll, eventually crushing the Star League. And this is also where we will leave off today.
It all starts with the kid, always.
I mean, it usually starts with the kid dying somewhere.
Dang kids, need to stop dying.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't anyone tell them it's illegal to die?
So our sources for today are Sarna, Battletech Battlemech Manual, Master Unit List, Succession Wars TRO and Record Sheets, 3050 Upgrades TRO and Record Sheets, Operation Klondike, and the Star League Sourcebook. This podcast is made possible by our supporters on patreon.com/on the Origin of Battlemechs, link in the description. Our social media on Twitter is at Origin of Mechs. We also have a community Discord, the Armory of Ouroboros, link in the description. You can email us at ontheoriginofbattlemechs@gmail.com. If you enjoy the show, please leave a review on your platform of consumption, tell your friends about us, and share on your community platform of choice. Special thanks to my friend Laura for the intro and outro. Our Ace Pilot Patreons are John Keith III, Metal Ed, and Stahlkater. Class dismissed. Everybody have a great day.
Stay safe out there.
Module complete. System standby. Would you like to load the next module?
Hey, you finally did it right on the first try.
No, I mentally paused and played it through my mind. And I was like, wait, which one is the one I usually
recording,
say?
Right? I mean, you could have at least blamed the fact that there's two of us today as throwing you off.
Yes,
now.
That's obviously it. Oh, angry kitty.
Angry
Indeed.
kitty.
Why are you complaining? You're getting head scratches literally right now.
Victor's
So the
getting,
1A...
feather toy time right now because he doesn't want to leave my computer alone. So that's my way of distracting him.
Very nice. So the... and I feel like I have a sneeze coming on.